Have you ever made breakfast for your mom, your dad, maybe your spouse, or even yourself, thinking, all right, this is a good start of the day, only to see them slow down, feel off, maybe complain about being tired or even dizzy just a few hours later? You sit there wondering, did I miss something? I thought this was healthy. It happens more than you'd think. That bowl of cereal, that tall glass of orange juice, the toast, the yogurt, the quick fix we grab because it feels easy, comforting, familiar. We tell ourselves, it's just breakfast. It can't be that serious. But for older adults, it is. See, here's the thing. As we age, our bodies don't respond to food the way they used to. Digestion slows down. Blood sugar reacts differently. And what used to be just fine in our 40s or 50s can actually become dangerous in our 70s or 80s. And no one talks about it. We hear about lunch and dinner, supplements and medications, exercise routines, but breakfast, the first meal of the day, it's often ignored. And yet, for seniors, breakfast can either set the tone for vitality or quietly drain them of energy, focus, and strength. I've seen it. A loved one eating what they think is a healthy breakfast, maybe something they've eaten for decades, then wondering why they feel anxious, weak, or bloated afterward. They don't connect the dots, and neither do we. But here's the good news, because there's good news. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which 5 breakfast foods should never be on a senior's plate, and which 5 should absolutely become staples in their morning routine. Some of these might surprise you. Some of them might even be in your kitchen right now. This isn't about fear. It's about freedom. It's about giving you and the people you love the energy, the clarity, and the strength to enjoy every day with a little more comfort and a little more confidence. So stick with me. This might be one of the most important things you learn this week. And while you're here, do me a small favor. If you care about turning breakfast into a healing habit, type "Good Morning Health" in the comments. Let me know you're with me. And make sure you subscribe to Elderly Care for trusted tips on aging with grace, because this channel is all about helping you show up for the ones you love and for yourself. All right, let's talk about what's really on that breakfast table and what shouldn't be. Let's start with one of the biggest culprits sitting quietly in the pantry. Number 1 worst, sugary cereals. Now I want you to picture Margaret. She's 76, widowed, independent, sharp as ever. And every morning, like clockwork, she'd pour herself a bright bowl of her favorite cereal. Something she's been eating since her kids were young. You know the kind. Comes in a cheerful box, promises fiber, vitamins, even a heart on the label. But not long ago, Margaret started feeling different. Foggy-headed, moody, sometimes even dizzy by mid-morning. Her doctor ran some tests and noticed something odd. Her blood sugar was swinging up and down like a roller coaster. The culprit? That morning cereal. What most people don't realize is that so many breakfast cereals, even the ones that seem healthy, are packed with hidden sugars and stripped of real fiber. They cause a quick burst of energy, sure, but that's followed by a sharp crash. And over time, those spikes and drops, they take a toll on the brain, on the heart, on the body's ability to regulate insulin. In fact, repeated blood sugar spikes have been linked to increased risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even dementia. And for older adults, whose systems are already more sensitive, this isn't just a minor issue. It's a ticking clock. But here's the tricky part. Many families assume cereal is harmless. It's what dad's always eaten, or it's quick, it's easy, and it says whole grain on the box. I get it. The packaging is convincing. But the reality inside that bowl is often very different. And what might look like a healthy start could be the very thing making someone feel tired, forgetful, or off balance. So what do? Instead of processed cereals, try something simple and nourishing, like warm rolled oats, topped with berries and a few crushed walnuts. Not the instant kind that comes in a flavor packet. Those are often just as sugary, but real oats. Oats that take a few minutes on the stove, but deliver hours of steady energy and heart-healthy fiber. It's not just about removing the bad. It's about replacing it with something good, something grounding, something healing. And speaking of blood sugar, another danger is hiding in plain sight. One that's been sitting on breakfast tables for generations, dressed up as something pure and refreshing. Number 2 worst, store-bought orange juice. Now let me tell you about Frank. 81 years old, a retired mechanic still sharp with his hands. Every morning, Frank had a routine. He'd wake up, stretch, pour himself a tall glass of orange juice, and sit by the window with the paper. It was his way of starting the day. Familiar, comforting. He told himself, hey, it's fruit. What could be better? But here's what was happening behind the scenes. By mid-morning, Frank would feel off, a little shaky, sometimes anxious, other times just plain tired. He thought maybe it was age, or stress, or sleep, but the real reason was in that innocent-looking glass. See, store-bought orange juice isn't what it seems. The label might say 100% juice or no added sugar, but don't let that fool you. When fruit is juiced, especially on a commercial scale, all the natural fiber, the part that slows sugar down and gives your body time to process it, is stripped away. What you're left with is a glass of pure, concentrated fructose that hits the bloodstream like a sugar bomb. Your pancreas scrambles to respond. Your blood sugar spikes high, then crashes hard. And for seniors who are often already managing things like insulin resistance, high blood pressure, or cognitive decline, this pattern is more than just uncomfortable. It can be dangerous. But here's the twist. Most people think fruit juice is good for them. It says vitamin C. It's fruit. It's natural. And to be fair, it used to be considered a healthy choice. But that was before we understood how the body reacts to sugar without fiber. Before we saw how years of those little daily choices can stack up into something much heavier. So what's the better path? Instead of juice, go with the whole fruit. Let the body work through the pulp, the skin, the fiber that slows digestion, supports gut health, and give a more even release of energy. Or take it a step further. Make a smoothie with spinach, a handful of berries, maybe a spoonful of protein powder. Something that nourishes rather than floods. Breakfast doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be kind to the body. And speaking of comforting routines, there's another breakfast favorite people love. Crispy, golden, sizzling in the pan, but for seniors, it might be doing more harm than good. Number 3 worst, processed meats like bacon and sausage. Let me bring you into Helen's story. She's 83, lives with her daughter, and every Sunday morning, her grandkids would come over and cook breakfast for her. It was their tradition, laughing, joking, sizzling bacon in the pan, the smell drifting through the house like a warm hug. And Helen loved it. She'd smile, sit at the table, soak up the moment. But over time, something started to shift. Her doctor noticed her cholesterol levels were climbing. Her blood pressure ticked up. At first, everyone thought it was just age. But the truth was sitting right there on her plate, salty, crispy, and familiar. Here's what many folks don't realize. Processed meats like bacon, sausage, and even those little links that come frozen in boxes, they're loaded with sodium, preservatives, and nitrates. They look like simple protein, but under the surface, they're working against the heart, the arteries, the very systems that seniors need to protect most. These nitrates, used to preserve color and shelf life, can increase inflammation in the body. And that inflammation, it's a root player in heart disease, cognitive decline, and even some cancers. The sodium, too, is no small thing. For someone whose kidneys or blood pressure are already sensitive, that added salt can quietly build toward real trouble. But I get why people don't question it. We've been taught that breakfast isn't breakfast without the smell of bacon or the sizzle of sausage. And hey, it's protein, right? That's the line. That's the misconception. But not all protein is created equal, especially not for an aging body. And over time, that morning indulgence becomes a daily risk. So what's the swap? Instead of reaching for bacon, try something like lean turkey slices, unprocessed, lightly seasoned. Or, if you're feeling a little adventurous, explore plant-based options. These days, there are wonderful meatless sausages made from beans, grains, and spices that taste amazing without the health baggage. The goal here isn't to take away joy, it's to preserve it. Because Sunday mornings should feel warm and safe. Not like a health gamble. Now, let's shift gears again. Let's talk about something you've probably heard praised again and again as healthy, light, and great for digestion. But in reality, it can cause more problems than it solves. Number 4 worst, flavored yogurts. Let me introduce you to James. He's 79, a retired school principal, still sharp, still reading, still asking questions. A few months back, he made a small change to his breakfast. He swapped his usual toast for what he believed was a healthier option, strawberry yogurt. He figured it was a smart move. Yogurt's good for the gut, right? That's what all the commercials say. He liked the taste. It felt light. It even had words like active cultures and supports digestion on the front. But one morning, he turned the container around, looked at the label, and what he saw shocked him. 23 grams of sugar in a single little cup, nearly as much as a candy bar. What James didn't realize, and what many people don't, is that flavored yogurts often carry a heavy sugar load. Even the ones that look healthy. Even the ones that claim they're low-fat or fruit-infused. See, the problem with these yogurts is twofold. First, the added sugars. They don't just sweeten the taste, they hijack the blood sugar. For older adults, this can mean spikes in insulin, energy crashes, inflammation, even weight gain around the belly, which is closely tied to heart disease and insulin resistance. Second, those sugary additives undo the very reason people eat yogurt in the first place, the probiotics. Sugar feeds the wrong kind of bacteria in gut. So even though you think you're supporting digestion, you might actually be disrupting it. But I understand the confusion. People hear yogurt and immediately think health. Calcium, gut support, protein, that's the common belief. But not all yogurts are created equal. So what's the better path? Plain Greek yogurt, unsweetened, rich in protein, thick and satisfying. Then you sweeten it naturally, your way. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon, some fresh blueberries or strawberries, maybe a handful of chopped nuts. You get the flavor and the health benefits without the sugar bomb. It might take a little getting used to at first. But once you taste real food without the artificial sweeteners and syrups, your body will notice. And it'll thank you. And last but not least, we need to talk about something that almost everyone assumes is harmless. Something simple, something warm and familiar. But sometimes it's the familiar things that do the most quiet damage. Number 5 worst, white bread toast with butter or jam. Let me tell you about Eleanor. She's 85, soft-spoken, proud, and she's been living alone since her husband passed a few years ago. Every morning, without fail, she makes herself the same breakfast, 2 slices of white toast, lightly buttered, sometimes with a little strawberry jam. It's a ritual. It brings her comfort, reminds her of simpler times. But recently, she's been feeling drained. By 10 a.m., she's already tired. No focus, no strength. Her daughter thought maybe she wasn't sleeping well. Maybe she was overdoing it. But when they looked closer, it became clear it was the toast. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's just toast. How bad can it be? It seems harmless, plain, almost virtuous. But what matters isn't what it looks like on the plate. It's what it does inside the body. White bread is made from refined flour, stripped of the fiber, stripped of the nutrients, processed until it becomes something the body digests in an instant. The moment you eat it, your blood sugar shoots up like a spark and then crashes. The butter adds saturated fat. The jam? Usually pure sugar, even in small amounts. And for a senior system, slower metabolism, more sensitive glucose response, maybe even pre-diabetes, this little harmless meal becomes a hidden energy thief. It creates a cycle of peaks and valleys, high blood sugar, then a crash, a burst of energy, then exhaustion, and all before lunch. It doesn't have to be that way. If you or someone you love starts the day with toast, there's a better way to do it. Choose a real, hearty whole grain bread, one with texture, one where you can see the seeds and grains. And instead of butter or sugary jam, try mashed avocado, full of healthy fats that fuel the brain and heart. Or spread a thin layer of natural almond or peanut butter, unsweetened, full of protein, and deeply satisfying. The goal isn't to take away comfort. It's to update it, so it serves your body, not drains it. Because breakfast doesn't just set the tone for the day. It sets the tone for your brain, your mood, your movement, your life. All right, now for the good news, because there is good news. Here are 5 breakfast foods that seniors should be eating every day. Foods that don't just avoid harm, but actually support strength, clarity, and vitality. Number 1 best, oatmeal with nuts and fruit. Let me tell you about Dan. He's 74, a retired firefighter, always on the go, even now. But a while back, he started noticing something odd. He was dragging through the mornings. Foggy-headed, no energy. He told his wife, "I don't feel like myself anymore." She looked at what he was eating for breakfast. Turned out it was mostly toast, a little juice, sometimes nothing at all. So she made a change. She started cooking him oats. Not instant oats, not the kind in a packet with sugar and fake flavor, but real, whole rolled oats simmered slowly on the stove. Within a week, Dan felt different. Calmer, stronger. He had energy that lasted. He wasn't crashing mid-morning. He said it felt like his body was finally fueling properly again. And there's a reason why. Oatmeal is one of the most powerful foods a senior can start the day with. It's rich in soluble fiber, which slows digestion, balances blood sugar, and helps reduce cholesterol. That kind of fiber doesn't just pass through, it works in the body. It binds with excess LDL cholesterol and helps carry it out. It also supports gut health and keeps things moving, something many older adults struggle with. Add in a few crushed walnuts or almonds, and suddenly you've got heart-healthy fats and a little protein to keep things steady. Toss in some blueberries, fresh or frozen, and now you've got antioxidants, vitamins, and a touch of natural sweetness without the sugar bomb. You can even sprinkle a little cinnamon on top. Not just for flavor. Cinnamon has been shown to help regulate blood sugar and reduce inflammation. This meal doesn't just fill the stomach. It supports the heart, the brain, the immune system. And maybe most importantly, it gives a steady, grounding kind of energy. The kind that helps you walk, think, smile, and move through your day with strength and clarity. For someone in their later years, that kind of breakfast isn't just food. It's a quiet form of medicine. And the best part? It's simple. You don't need a chef. You don't need fancy tools. Just a pot, a stove, and a few real ingredients. So if you're looking for one change, one small shift that can ripple out into better mornings, better moods, better health, start with oats. It's humble, but it's powerful. Now, let's move on to another breakfast food that's gotten a bad reputation over the years. But when prepared right, it's actually one of the most complete, nourishing options out there, especially for seniors. Number 2 best, eggs, especially boiled or poached. Now let me tell you about Martha. She's 78, lives in a quiet little town, and every morning she used to sit with a cup of tea and a sweet pastry. Just a little Danish or muffin, something easy. It felt like a treat, like a soft start of the day. But after a while, she noticed her mornings were slipping away. She'd get lightheaded, forget what she was doing. Some days, she didn't even feel like leaving her chair. Her daughter gently suggested a switch, just a simple one. Trade the pastry for 2 boiled eggs. And Martha, bless her, gave it a try. After just a few days, she said something changed. She felt more alert, more stable. Her thoughts came easier. She had the strength to go out for her walks again. And all it took was 2 eggs. Now, why does that matter? Because eggs, especially when they're boiled or poached, so not fried in oil or buried under cheese, are one of the most complete, gentle, and functional foods a senior can eat in the morning. They're high in protein, which is crucial for maintaining muscle mass and strength, something our bodies naturally start to lose with age. But here's the real star inside that little shell, choline. Choline is a nutrient most people don't even talk about, yet it's deeply important, especially for brain health. It helps maintain the structure of cell membranes, supports memory, and even assists in mood regulation. And guess what? Most people, especially seniors, aren't getting enough of it. But just 2 eggs can give a good boost toward meeting that need. They're also easy to digest, gentle on the stomach. They don't spike blood sugar, and they keep you full for longer, which means fewer snacks, fewer crashes, and better energy throughout the day. And if you want to elevate them even further, pair your eggs with something green, maybe a handful of spinach sautéed gently, or a slice of avocado. Or add a slice of hearty whole grain toast to soak up that yolk. You're building a breakfast that feeds the body and the brain, that stabilizes, strengthens, and sustains. Now, I know some people worry about cholesterol in eggs. That's an old fear. More recent research shows that for most people, especially when eggs are eaten in moderation and not drenched in butter or oil, They actually support good cholesterol levels rather than harm them. So don't let fear keep you from something nourishing. Eggs are simple, affordable, and deeply healing when prepared with care. And for someone in their later years, they're not just a source of protein. They're a source of clarity, steadiness, and quiet strength. All right, let's move to the next on our list. A breakfast option that supports not just digestion, but immunity, bones, and energy. It's creamy, it's powerful, and when you make the right choice, it's one of the best things you can start the day with. Number 3 best, Greek yogurt with seeds. Carl is 82, quiet guy, former postman, liked his routine simple. But for the longest time, breakfast was a bit of a mess. Some mornings he'd skip it. Others, he'd reach for whatever was quick. Maybe toast, maybe those little snack cakes his neighbor would bring by. He wasn't feeling strong. His joints ached. He'd lost weight he couldn't afford to lose. His digestion fell off, and his energy just flat. Then one day, his grandson, just a teenager, brought over a tub of plain Greek yogurt and said, "Grandpa, try this," and put some of those flax seeds in it too. Carl shrugged, gave a shot, and you know what? He stuck with it. Every morning, just a scoop of thick Greek yogurt, a spoonful of flax seeds, maybe a few berries or a drizzle of honey if he felt fancy. Nothing dramatic, but slowly, everything started to feel better. His energy held longer. His stomach settled. Even his mood lifted. There's something powerful in that little bowl. Greek yogurt is a quiet powerhouse, rich in protein, packed with probiotics, and full of that creamy texture that makes it satisfying without being heavy. The protein helps maintain muscle, support healing, and keep blood sugar steady. And the probiotics? They work deep in the gut, where so much of our immune system lives. For older adults, where gut balance can shift easily, those probiotics make a difference. They can help with digestion, reduce inflammation, and even support mental clarity through the gut-brain connection. But what takes it to another level are the seeds. Carl chose flax seeds, which are great, but you could just as easily go with chia seeds or hemp hearts. These tiny additions are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, especially important for seniors because they help reduce inflammation, support heart health, and even benefit brain function. They also add a bit of fiber, which helps everything move more smoothly and keeps you feeling full. And the beauty of this meal? It's fast. It's easy. There's no stove, no mess, just a bowl and a spoon. It feels light, but it nourishes deeply. Just make sure it's plain Greek yogurt, not the fruit on the bottom or sweetened kind we talked about earlier. You want to keep it real. You control the flavor. Add cinnamon, fresh fruit, maybe a few chopped nuts if you like a little crunch. It's the kind of breakfast that doesn't just feed the body, it supports healing. Quietly, consistently. Now let's shift to something for folks who don't always feel like eating in the morning. Something cool, quick, and easy to sip, but when done right, it's like giving the body a head start on the day. Number 4 best, a smoothie with spinach, berries, and protein. Let me tell you about Joan. She's 80, vibrant in spirit, but always said the same thing about mornings. I just can't eat early. I'm not hungry yet. Breakfast felt heavy, forced. Even a small bite would sit in her stomach like a brick. So she'd skip it. But by midday, she was dragging. Shaky hands, slow thoughts, not herself. Then her caregiver suggested something simple, a smoothie. At first, Joan wrinkled her nose. "I'm not a smoothie person," she said, but she agreed to try it. Just a small glass, blended almond milk, a handful of spinach, half a banana, some frozen berries, and a scoop of protein powder. And something clicked, because Joan didn't feel weighed down. She felt light, energized, focused. Her stomach was calm. Her blood sugar stayed even. And best of all, she actually looked forward to it. It became part of her rhythm, part of what helped her feel steady and strong. Here's the science behind that quiet little miracle. A well-balanced smoothie gives your body everything it needs first thing in the morning, without the effort of chewing or digesting a heavy meal. You get your macronutrients in harmony, protein to maintain muscle and manage hunger, healthy fats if you toss in a bit of nut butter or chia seeds, and complex carbs from fruits and greens that fuel the body without a sugar crash. Spinach is rich in iron, magnesium, and folate, all crucial for aging cells. Berries bring in antioxidants that help fight inflammation and protect the brain. Bananas give natural sweetness and potassium for heart rhythm. Almond milk keeps things gentle on the stomach, while protein powder, plant-based or whey, helps rebuild tissue, regulate metabolism, and support immune function. And because it's blended, it's easy to digest. The nutrients are absorbed efficiently. That matters, especially for seniors who might have dental issues, reduced appetite, or slower digestion. Now, the key is balance. Not just fruit, not just juice. You want greens. You want a protein source. You want fiber. You want calm, steady energy, not a burst followed by a drop. And the beauty? You can customize it. Add turmeric for inflammation. A few oats if you want it thicker. Adjust the texture, the taste, the temperature. Make it yours. For someone who doesn't like eating in the morning, a smoothie isn't just a compromise. It's a gift. One that nourishes quietly and completely. Now let's finish our list with one last breakfast food. It's simple, it's savory, and it's taken a lot of flack over the years. But for seniors, it might just be the perfect balance of comfort and nutrition. Number 5 best, avocado toast on whole grain bread. Now, I want you to meet Linda. She's 77, full of life, always had a sharp eye for style and simplicity. Breakfast used to be 2 slices of white toast, one with butter, the other with jam. It was her comfort, her habit. But after a routine checkup, her doctor had a quiet talk with her. Her cholesterol had crept up. Her blood pressure too. Nothing dramatic yet, but enough to make her pause. So Linda did something bold. She swapped her butter for avocado. Just a half, mashed up with a tiny drizzle of olive oil, a squeeze of lemon, and a pinch of sea salt. She spread on a thick slice of whole grain bread. Grainy, dense, the kind you can actually feel in your hands. And that was it. No fanfare. No big changes, just one choice. Within weeks, her energy improved. She said her mind felt clearer. Her digestion eased. She felt stronger somehow, more in control. Here's why that small swap made such a big impact. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, the heart-healthy kind that support circulation, reduce inflammation, and help lower bad cholesterol. These fats don't clog arteries, they clean them. They also help keep the brain nourished, supporting cognitive function and memory. Then there's the fiber. Avocados are surprisingly high in it. That fiber doesn't just support digestion. It helps balance blood sugar, feed healthy gut bacteria, and keep you full longer, which is important for seniors who struggle with appetite swings or weight management. And when you pair that creamy avocado with a solid slice of whole grain bread, you're not just building flavor, you're building function. That bread adds complex carbs and more fiber, steadying blood sugar instead of spiking it. You can take it further, too. Linda likes to top hers with a sliced boiled egg for protein. Sometimes cherry tomatoes, or even a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds. It's colorful, textured, satisfying in a way that feels indulgent, but isn't. It's not flashy. It's not trendy, despite what the internet says. For seniors, it's just smart. Simple food, real ingredients, and no weird additives. Just the kind of meal that honors the body without overwhelming it. And the best part? It replaces old habits with something that still feels familiar, still feels like you, but give your body what it really needs. So if breakfast has been stuck in the same old pattern, white toast, margarine, a quick fix, maybe it's time for something different. Something real. Something that works with your body, not against it. Because sometimes the right food isn't just fuel, it's a quiet promise. That you're still taking care of yourself. That you're still choosing strength. That you're still here. And now that we've covered the 5 worst and 5 best breakfast foods for seniors, let's take a moment to reflect on what all of this really means. You know, the hardest part isn't always the illness. It's the quiet moments that lead up to it. It's watching someone you love, someone who raised you, taught you, or simply shared a life with you, eat something they've trusted for years and not realizing it's quietly making them weaker. They're not doing anything wrong. They're doing what they've always done. Buttered toast, a glass of juice, that old box of cereal. These things feel safe, familiar, comforting. But sometimes those familiar foods are quietly pulling energy out of them instead of giving it back. And that That is what breaks your heart. Because you see the tired eyes, the trembling hands, the lost focus. You see them slipping from their own routines, feeling frustrated, foggy, slow. And they don't know why. But now you do. And that's the turning point. See, this isn't about fear. It's about freedom. This isn't about what we lose as we age. It's about what we still have the power to protect. Knowledge is power, but more than that, it's love and action. And that's what you've been doing just by being here, by learning, by listening. Instead of fearing the changes that come with age, we can lean in. We can say, all right, maybe this isn't working anymore. Maybe it's time to try something new. We don't have to overhaul everything. We don't have to lecture or nag. We just have to swap one thing. Just one. That juice in the fridge, replace it with a few ripe oranges and a blender. That white bread, try a real whole grain loaf. That sugar-packed yogurt, grab plain Greek and add your own touch. Start small. Watch what happens. And the moment they start to feel better, that spark in their eyes, that little more energy in their walk, that's when you'll know it was worth it. Because food is more than fuel. It's how we care. It's how we say, I see you. I want you to thrive. I want you to stay with me longer, feeling strong and steady. It doesn't take a hospital visit to change a life. Sometimes it just takes a different breakfast. So if there's one thing you do today, one quiet act of love, go to the pantry. Open the fridge. Swap out just one thing. Small changes, made with love, can bring back vitality and joy to someone's morning routine. Not just for their body, but for their spirit. And that is everything. So remember, it's not about giving up everything you love. It's about noticing what's quietly hurting you or someone you care about and choosing something better. Start by avoiding the 5 breakfast foods that do more harm than good. Sugary cereals that spike blood sugar and fade fast. Store-bought juices that pretend to be healthy but flood the body with sugar. Processed meats like bacon and sausage, heavy with sodium and hidden risks. Flavored yogurts, packed with sugar that cancel out their benefits. And white bread toast, simple but empty, draining rather than fueling. And in their place, invite in real nourishment. Embrace oats, warm and grounding. Eggs, simple and strengthening. Greek yogurt with seeds, rich and steadying. Smoothies full of greens and color, gentle but powerful. And avocado toast, comfort food done right. These aren't just healthy options, they're acts of care. Quiet gifts we can offer every single morning. And I want to hear from you. Have you noticed how breakfast choices affect your loved one's energy or mood? Maybe you've seen a change after trying something new, or maybe you're just starting to pay attention now. Share your story in the comments. I read everyone. Eat truly do. This channel, Elderly Care, is here for you for moments like this. If you found this video helpful, if it gave you even one small shift in thinking, consider subscribing. Not for numbers, but so you never miss a chance to show up better, more informed, more loving for yourself or someone you care for. Thank you. Thank you for listening, for caring, for being the kind of person who takes time to understand what really matters. Stay kind, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.